My 5 feet 2 inches daughter put her bully in the hospital, and I've never been prouder. This kid Carter had been making her life hell for months, shoving her in hallways, dumping food on her lunch tray, calling her names that made her cry every night. School did nothing because his dad coaches football and donates big money. I should mention my daughter had been coming home different these past months. The spark in her eyes was gone. She'd lock herself in her room, skip dinner, and I'd hear her crying through the walls at night. When I tried talking to her, she'd just say she was fine, but I knew she wasn't. Alex didn't know about the bullying. She made me promise not to tell him because she didn't want him to worry or try to be her hero. She was protecting everyone but herself, and it was killing me to watch. Last Tuesday, Carter made his biggest mistake. My daughter was walking to her car when she saw him cornering her 12-year-old brother Alex at the bus stop. He had Alex pinned against the fence, going through his backpack and laughing as he threw Alex's homework into the muddy puddles on the ground. Alex was crying, begging him to stop, saying he'd tell his parents. She told me later that hearing Alex's voice crack like that, seeing him so helpless and scared, made something explode inside her chest. All those months of taking Carter's abuse, staying quiet, trying to be the bigger person, it all disappeared when she saw her little brother's terrified face. In that moment, she realized she'd been so focused on not wanting to cause trouble that she'd forgotten she was worth protecting too. But Alex? Alex was innocent. Alex was everything good in the world, and this monster was trying to break him. She told me her hands were shaking as she walked over, but not from fear, from pure rage. For the first time in months, she felt powerful. Carter never saw her coming. She walked up behind him, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. She tapped his shoulder, and when he turned around with that same cocky smirk he'd been giving her for months, she said something inside her just roared. The punch came from somewhere deep inside her soul. She told me she put every sleepless night, every skipped meal, every tear she'd cried into that hit. The crack of his nose breaking echoed across the parking lot like a baseball bat hitting concrete. Blood went everywhere. Carter dropped like a rock, screaming while other kids started recording on their phones. He was literally crying about his modeling career being over as he rolled around holding his completely shattered face. Alex just stood there in shock, homework scattered around his feet. She said the weirdest part was how quiet everything got after Carter hit the ground, like the whole world paused. Then she realized other kids were cheering. Kids who'd been afraid to speak up before were suddenly saying things like, "Finally," and "He deserved it." The ambulance came 20 minutes later. She'd broken his nose in 3 places and gave him a concussion when his head hit the pavement. The paramedic looked at this tiny girl, then at this massive kid on the stretcher, and just shook his head in amazement. That night, she cried for 2 hours straight, not from guilt, but from relief. She said it felt like she could finally breathe again. Alex hugged her and whispered, "Thank you for protecting me," and I watched her realize she'd been protecting him all along. Carter's parents showed up at our door the next morning, absolutely livid. His mother was screaming about how their innocent boy was traumatized and would need therapy. His father was threatening lawsuits and demanding we pay for plastic surgery. I let them rant for 3 minutes before I pulled out my phone and showed them the security footage I'd already obtained. We all watched their innocent boy terrorize a 12-year-old child half his size. They tried pressing charges until they saw that footage of their star athlete bullying a 6th grader. Their lawyer took one look at the video and quietly suggested they drop everything. Now Carter crosses the street when he sees her coming.